I've been on the hunt for the perfect blouse, well for me anyway. I'm quite narrow shouldered, so I wanted something that made my shoulders look a bit wider if possible and balance my shape out. I wanted to incorporate pleats in the pattern to give myself some new sewing skills as well. I am quite boobalicious. I'm only a 35 to 36 chest, but I'm only 5 foot tall, so yeah, slightly out of balance on the boob front. So I wanted something that wasn't going to accentuate those, and I wanted something that was going to be very wearable, that I could mix and match with other garments in my wardrobe and not just wear it once and then leave it on a hanger. You know what I mean? We make a lot of clothes and then don't wear them. This is all about a blouse or shirt that I am going to wear a lot. Hi there, I'm Christine the Gemini Stitcher and welcome to my sewing space. If you watched my vlog on Monday, thank you. And you will know that I made a blouse called the Roslyn Blouse from Mimoi Patterns. They're a French pattern company, and I've also recently been diving into French pattern companies and scoring them and deciding which ones I would use again. So this links in to my 5 French pattern companies vlog that I did 4 months ago now, but I will bob the link for that below if you want to go and watch it. Blouse number 2 on my radar is from a French pattern company called Mimoi. Now, word of warning with this one, the pattern does come in French, so you will need to translate it, but Google Translator is brilliant and I would not be put off by a French pattern. Just do it on Google Translate. It takes a little bit of time, but for this one, I really do think it's worth it. So the blouse that I've picked is the Roslyn blouse, and the features in the Roslyn are abound. There's so many things going on with this blouse, it'd be difficult not to like it in my opinion. So it's got small horizontal pleats varying in height going across the front yokes. You can have a small round or a pointed collar, a removable tie detail. The gathers go under the last pleat on the front, so the seam is hidden where the gathers are at the front, and there's gathers on the back yoke as well and the sleeves. The pleats detail for the front yoke is done in a very clever way. It's cut on it's sewn and pressed and sewn on a rectangular piece of fabric, and then you cut the pattern pieces out once you've done the pleats. Really clever way of doing them, I think. So what fabrics are they suggesting that you use for the Roslyn? Viscose, crepe, tencel, twill, cotton. So any light to medium weight woven fabrics is perfect for this pattern. You need 1.8 to 2.5 meters of fabric, and the sizing is in EU sizing 32 up to 50. So I've made the first blouse that I chose from my 10 pattern choices, and here it is. It's the Roslyn from Mimoi Patterns. It's got lots of detail in it, and first of all I want to explain why I chose this pattern. I'm narrow shouldered and I wanted something to extend my shoulders. I didn't want to look like an American footballer, but I wanted my shoulders not to be scrunched in. I wanted them to be wide and proud. So the Roslyn blouse has got horizontal pleats or pin tucks at the top of the shoulders, a yoke, a front yoke that finishes above your high bust line so it doesn't come down over the boobs and make them look big. And I chose it because I thought the horizontal pleats would even out my narrow shoulders. So that was the first reason that I chose this pattern. Then, if I choose a fitted blouse, which potentially with that detail at the top, this could have been, I end up feeling uncomfortable and tight round the boots and conscious of them as well. So this blouse has got very clever pleats or gathers in the front bodice and the back bodice as well, and in the front they join in under the last pleat so you don't see the seam, which is a really clever detail. Now these relief gathers mean that you don't have a bust dart in this blouse either, so there's no aggro about getting the bust dart to line up properly. And it gives it a bit of room, drapes over the boobs, and I hope makes them not as obviously like Dolly Parton. We love Dolly Parton, but I don't want to look like her. So there were the reasons that I chose the Roslyn blouse. Now I've made my blouse in a cotton linen fabric from Fabworks. It sold really well, it was easy to handle, it pressed well for all those pleats at the top, and just all in all a really beautiful fabric. Now it has a ribbon border on it in the selvage, and I've used that detail in the front placket, button placket on the blouse as well. So I love that little detail I've been able to do purely because of how they've woven the fabric. It has a cute tie on it. Now the collar, I've done the rounded collar version. There's also the option to do a pointed collar. It is, if my only criticism possibly of this pattern is that the collar is a little bit on the small side. So if I made it again, I may increase the size of the collar, see how I feel when I've worn it a few times. So we'll just whiz good old Rita round. So the back is quite plain, it's got gathers on the yoke. So you're going to do the burrito method for the yoke. And because it's got a yoke on the front as well, you don't join your burrito at the shoulders, you join them at the front. And the reason you do that is so that that line of stitching where the bottom of the front and the yoke join ends up hidden by the last pleat. Really clever how that's been done. It's got reasonably roomy sleeves in it that gather at the sleeve head and at the cuff as well. It's got proper cuffs on with your proper cuff vents on them. That's the one thing I always find fiddly, is sewing the vents on the cuffs, because you have a little tiny piece of fabric that you have to sew around and catch in at the top. I think I've done quite well with it, and I think that's partly because of the fabric. If I was doing this in a viscose, I would definitely need to use best press. I did use best press. The pattern tells you to when you're doing the pleats at the top. I used the best press and it really, really helped. Now, these panels, these yoke panels, are formed in a really clever way that I've not done before. You get a pattern piece that's an oblong shape. In fact, I'll just go and grab it and then you can see what I'm talking about. So you get this pattern piece. Excuse the parcel tape that I've used to stick my pattern together. I have no glue or clear tape left and I didn't want to wait for it to be pattern printed. I was desperate to get on with this, chomping at the bit, so I've just stuck it together with parcel tape and hey, it works for me. So this is the pattern piece that you get and it's got all the lines on it that you have to mark. So you cut an oblong out, this piece, mark all those lines on it very carefully. And then you do the pleats and it tells you how to do them. So you do all the pleats in the rectangle and then you get your yoke piece, place it on the rectangle and cut your front yoke piece out. Before you cut it out, you trace round it with a marker pen, obviously, fabric friendly. Then you sew around the edge 1/2 centimetre in a very, very narrow seam all the way around the pattern to hold the pleats in place before you cut it out. Then you cut it out and you've got your pattern piece. That's the first thing you do on the pattern. So that's a little bit time consuming, but so worthwhile. I mean, look at that detail that you end up with at the end. It's not a quick make by any stretch of the imagination. Well, it wasn't for me anyway, but a satisfying make. I learnt loads, I took my time with it, embraced the process, and yeah, just thoroughly enjoyed making the Roslyn blouse. So when I did my other reviews of my French pattern companies, I gave them all scores. So the scores are going to pop up here for the Mimoi Roslyn blouse. So there were 5 criteria: sizing, instructions, value for money, couture details and wearability. So let's start with the sizing on this one. Now, I know that I normally do a size 40 in European sizes and I stuck with that size. It's come out really well. I will do my little show at the end so you can see what it's like on a real body, not on Rita. And I hope you'll agree it's a really good fit. So the sizing is true to size for me. The alterations that I made, because I've already said narrow shoulder brigade, so I took 1 inch off the shoulders doing a narrow shoulder adjustment. I took about 4 inches off the length because when I put the pattern pieces up to me, they were nearly down to my knees, let me tell you. But I still wanted to be able to tuck it into trousers and skirts, so I left it thigh length. I also took 4 inches out of the sleeves because, let's face it, even 5 foot and the sleeves fitted me, I would look like an orangutan, wouldn't I? So I took 4 inches out of the sleeves. Apart from that, I know that's a lot, but apart from that, the pattern was as is. So I know the pattern sizing isn't about me being a midget, so I'm ignoring that. So I am going to give them 5 out of 5 for sizing because I do a size 40. That's the size for my body measurements and it fits nicely. So instructions. Now this gets a little bit interesting because this pattern is all in French. Now if I bought a pattern and it was a simple top or a sweatshirt, then I wouldn't worry about the instructions because I could get my way through it without translating them. But for this one, they needed to be translated. First time I've ever done that, I used Google's Translate. I just copied and pasted every instruction into it and then put it all in a Word document and printed it off. Took about an hour to do, but well worth it because this is the result that you get. They translated into English very well. The instructions were very detailed in some places. For me, too much detail maybe, but very good indeed. So I'm going to knock them a point off because they haven't done an English version of it. So they're getting 4 out of 5 for their instructions. Value for money. This blouse cost me £10.35 as a PDF. That's all it cost me because I printed it at home. I didn't send it away for printing. If I had sent it for printing, it would have cost me at least another £4. So £14.35, I don't think is too bad for a pattern these days. Not for an indie pattern anyway. And one with the detailing that this one's got. Happy with the price. There aren't that many different options for this blouse. There are 2 colour options, the round or the standard pointed collar. You can have the tie on or the tie off, but I wouldn't class that as really a different option. The sleeves are just done as long sleeves, but I'm sure it would be easy to shorten them. It might look nice with some 3/4 sleeves with little cuff detail on, so that's maybe a pattern hack for the future. I would have liked them to have done a dress version of it, and they haven't. It's fairly easy to do yourself, but it would have been nice for it to be included in the pattern. So I'm going to be really mean and give them 3 out of 5 for value for money, because you're only getting in the pattern the one shirt really. A different colour option isn't a different garment to me. So we're going to be mean and give them 3 for value for money. Couture details. Well, what can I say? It's got the variegated pleat details at the top, a cute tie option, 2 collar details, a proper stand collar on it, 2-part stand collar. The instructions tell you to do French seams on the inside. So really good finish on it and lots of detail. So they are getting 5 for their couture details. And the last one, wearability. How much am I going to wear this blouse? So I can only guess from how I feel about it now. And you know that when you wear things, you see them differently. You either wear them more or you don't. So when I've eventually, and I mean eventually, covered all 5 French pattern companies, I will hopefully be wearing the garments and I'll be able to put them in order of how much I've worn them. So that will be a vlog for the future. Probably next summer at the pace I'm going. But watch out for that one. So, wearability. I think it's a good all-round blouse. It's going to slot nicely into my wardrobe. It can be dressed up or dressed down, depending on a nice jacket with it and some dressy trousers. Wear it with jeans, wear it with cords. So I think it's going to be a flexible item in my wardrobe. So I'm going to give the wearability a confident 4 because I'm not 100% on the collar detail. As I've already said, I think it's quite small. Is it a bit fussy looking? Will I wear it and feel happy in it? Only time will tell. So we're going to give it 4. So what is the final score for the Roslyn blouse? It gets a very nice 21 as its final score. So when I've done all 5, we'll compare the final scores, and as I said, we might redo the wearability. I'll review how much I've worn each garment. So let me know if you've made the Roslyn blouse. Are you interested in making it? If you are, then just go for it. Google Translate is all you need. Just spend, don't even think it took an hour, to be honest. I'm saying an hour on the cautious end to just translate them. Happy sewing, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you found this vlog interested, please consider subscribing to my channel. I am over 5,000 now, but I am clawing my way, kicking and screaming. My ultimate goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers, and then I'll stop banging on about them. Maybe. But if you've dropped on and you like what you've seen and you want to see more of it, then subscribe to my channel. That's how you'll find out when my new vlogs come out. So have a fantastic sewing weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye!